Just in the last few hours tonight, a federal judge in Minnesota, a Trump appointee, has issued an order holding the administration in contempt for disobeying a court order in an immigration case. A federal judge finding that the federal government is in contempt. That is notable and unusual enough. But this is the second time the Trump administration has been found in contempt in the space of a week. Just a few days ago, another federal judge in Minnesota held a DOJ prosecutor in contempt in a different immigration case. She actually ordered the prosecutor to pay a $500 daily fine until the Justice Department started complying with her orders in that case, which they finally did the next day. That sort of thing has a way of getting their attention. But this is becoming a theme, and I think this is really important. Everybody said at the outset of Trump's second term that it would be a bright red line in terms of a slide into authoritarian rule in this country if the Trump administration started defying orders from the courts, right? You remember all those discussions? Well, the Trump administration is now routinely and frequently defying orders from judges, specifically on cases relating to immigrants. And the courts have not only figured out that that's happening, the courts have now decided to stand up and fight for themselves. We've seen the chief judge in Minnesota compile a list of nearly 100 violations of court orders in immigration cases just in that state. In New Jersey, the Trump Justice Department was just forced to apologize in court for violating more than 50 orders from federal judges in immigration cases. They were essentially pleading to not be held in contempt in that state as well. Another DOJ prosecutor also had to apologize to a judge in Virginia. This time, the judge had rebuked the Justice Department for keeping relevant information from him when they sought a search warrant for the search of a home of a Washington Post reporter. In another case in West Virginia, before a judge named Joseph Goodwin last week, this is a case where masked ICE agents arrested a man and jailed him without a bond hearing. Judge Goodwin wrote this. He wrote, quote, "Antiseptic judicial rhetoric cannot do justice to what is happening. Across the interior of the United States, agents of the federal government, masked, anonymous, armed with military weapons, operating from unmarked vehicles, acting without warrants of any kind, are seizing persons for civil immigration violations and imprisoning them without any semblance of due process. The systematic character of this practice and its deliberate elimination of every structural feature that distinguishes constitutional authority from raw force place it beyond the reach of ordinary legal description. It is an assault on the constitutional order." Judges standing up for themselves, standing up for the court system, standing up for the Constitution. The Justice Department is not just any other among the many failing parts of the government under Donald Trump's misrule. The Justice Department, to a large extent, kind of is our legal system. It has a qualitatively different amount of responsibility, at least, for keeping us going as a constitutional republic. So one of the things that's going to be really important for when we come out the other side of this, which we will, is that the behavior of this agency in particular, of DOJ in particular, it's going to have to be sort of walled off and bracketed as not normal. The things that happened in the Trump Justice Department are going to need to be labeled as not normal, as something that can't be precedent, as things that we can never do again just because they were done now. We are not going to evolve in a direction in which this is the kind of stuff that our Justice Department and our government tries to get away with. Well, right now, federal judges from one end of the country to the other are starting to draw bright lines around this behavior, saying this is not okay, and we're going to punish you for it until you fix it. We're going to need that because one day we are going to need to remember how to have a real functioning Justice Department again.